What's up, guys? Welcome back to Fish Over Chicks Woodworking. My name is Peter, and today's video is the complete guide on how to build this herringbone, wood burned and stained coffee table. This did not take too much wood, surprisingly. I think I made the whole thing out of 1.5 2x6s, and then I did use a scrap piece of plywood that was 20 inches by 40 inches. But honestly, not a very expensive project. And it was not too hard to make. It is a bit time consuming, but the finished product is really cool. I love the way that the top looks with the wood burn and the stain and of course the pattern. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. Alright, so now that I'm done rounding over all 38 of those pieces, now I'm going to take this board that I cut earlier, which is 40 inches long by 20 inches wide. This is going to be the top, and this is where I'm going to lay all of those pieces across to make the pattern. Alright, so there's the design. I think it's coming out really good so far. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is grab my router with my flush bit, and I'm just going to go around the edges and get off all this extra stuff. Here it is. I think it looks great. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is use the same 1/8 inch round over bit. I'm going to go along the sides here. As you can see, these are pretty chipped right here, but once we go over it with the round over bit, they'll smooth right out, and then we're going to sand it down. Alright, so I got carried away and I did not end up filming this part, but I put these support pieces all the way around, and then I glued them, and I just clamped them all up all the way around, and what that's going to do is push this top piece down to level because it had a little bit of a warp in it. So now that I've clamped it to this this solid straight piece, that is going to get rid of that warp. Alright, so it's the next day. I let this clamp overnight, clamp and dry overnight. As I showed you in the last clip, I forgot to film this, but basically, as you see here, I've got just an 1.5 inch thickness border that I put underneath it, and that's just for support. So let's go ahead, take these clamps off, and get to the next step. There it is. Looks awesome. Obviously, I've got these here that I'm going to cut off. So let's get these extra pieces off, and then we'll move on to the next step. So now the next step should be to go over and sand the whole thing down, but I don't have any more sandpaper. I want to start at 120 and work my way up to 220, and I don't have any 120 or 220. So I'm going to go to the store later to get some of that. But in the meantime, we're going to build some legs. Alright, so now for the legs, I'm going to just do a simple U-shape on each side for the legs, just to keep it simple and easy. And I think it'll look nice with that simple design. So I'm just going to use 2 pieces of 2x6s that I cut down to 19 inches each. And then I'm going to make 3 smaller cuts into these, which is going to end up with 3 pieces from each. So 6 pieces in total that are 1¼ inch thick by 1¼ inch wide by 19 inches long. So let's go ahead and get these cut. Alright, now that we got that all cut, let's go ahead and assemble them. So the legs aren't going to be anything super fancy the way we put them together. We're just going to use some pocket screws. So basically, we're going to have one there, and then we're going to have 2 just like that. and then we'll pocket screw from here into there. And that'll be on the underside that we do the screw, so you won't be able to see it, which would be good, so we don't have to worry about filling that in or anything. But first we gotta measure them and make sure that these are the right size to fit underneath that table. I believe that we're probably gonna have to cut this middle piece down a little bit, but that's no big deal. So let's get that measured up and see what we're gonna need to do. All right, so the underside of the table is 18 3/8 inches wide. So that means that this is going to be 18 3/8 inches wide minus this thickness and this thickness. So quick math, let's do that. All right, so these two together are 2 3/4 inches wide. I actually went ahead and made them 1.5, or sorry, not 1.25 inch, but 1 3/8 inches thick by 1 3/8 inches thick, just to give it a little more because I could, with the wood that I had, I could play with a little bit more. So two of these together would be 2 6/8, which is 2 3/4. So we need to take this piece, which is the bottom piece, and we need to make it 8 3/8 to fit under here. But because these are going to be on the side of it, we need to take off 2 3/4 inches all together from this to get that to be perfectly even. So I'm just going to figure all this out, and then I will let you know the exact dimensions you need each piece of wood cut to, because I don't think you followed that, and honestly, I barely followed that. So let's. All right, 15 5/8. I figured it out. So you need to cut 2 of these squared pieces to 15 5/8 inches long, and then with your 2 here, that'll make it perfectly to whatever the number I said was. What was it? 18 3/8. Man, math is hard. All right, I've got 2 pieces, both of them cut to 15 5/8 inches. That was a lot of math, but we got through it together. So now let's take a look at these legs. These can be as tall as you want them to be for the coffee table. I'll cut these 4 pieces down to 17.5 inches, just so it's not too tall. So it'll end up, the coffee table will end up about 18 to 18 3/4 inches tall, which I think is perfect. All right, 17.5 inches, 15 5/8 inches. It is time to get them connected. So let's use some pocket holes. Pocket hole jig. Drill bit for the pocket hole jig. Drill bit for the screws. Pocket hole screws. Drill. I need a battery for this, don't I? Good. I'm batting 1,000 today, guys. I'm really doing great. All right. So I've got this loaded into my pocket hole jig. As you can see, there the two holes are very close to the edge there, but I think I will be able to fit 2, and if I'm not able to fit 2, it's gonna be too bad. I'll have to redo this piece, but let's find out. Oh yeah, I got plenty of room there. So just do that here, and then there on the next one. All right, perfect. Got that one. Now I just need one more. All right. Both are done. All right, so I've got those 2 cut here, and basically I'm just gonna line them up like that, keeping the pocket screw holes towards me, because when you put the pocket screws in, they go in at this angle, so they go up, which means they're going into the fatter part of the workpiece, where there's more material, so that'll keep it more sturdy. It will also not show the pocket screws, because those will be on the ground of the coffee table. So let's get those in. All right, one leg is constructed. All right, so now that you got one done, just go ahead and do that with the other one. Repeat that step. And now we're gonna go ahead and do some sanding. We're gonna sand them with a 120 grit sandpaper, not go too aggressive, just get down any of the big imperfections with the 120 grit. All right, I've got the legs nice and rounded and sanded. They're soft, they're looking great. So now what we're gonna do is grab our legs, which are perfect. Speaking of imperfections, there is no imperfections on our legs. And they should just slide right in like that. Perfect. Little tiny bit of space on each side, which is probably a good thing. So now what we're gonna do is glue and screw these. Let's go ahead, and I am going to glue all in these corner pockets, both walls and on the surface there. Then I'm gonna place this right there, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a screw from the back here into this sideboard right here. So I'm gonna need a 1 3/4 inch screw, which I have tons of, and I'm just gonna put one of them right in there. And there it is. Oh, awesome. Oh, I love it. I think it looks awesome. Okay, I'm gonna flip it over because I already see glue starting to drip. So now what I'm gonna do is let it dry for, oh no, probably an hour, maybe 2. Obviously, it's not going to go anywhere because those screws are in, but once this is dried a little bit, and then we'll move on to the wood burning and the staining. So, basically, you just need a can of propane and then a little igniter up here. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do here is turn it on, and then I'm just going to stay a few inches away, just going back and forth until it gets nice and dark. I'm looking for like a dark brown, but not too dark because we are going to stain it afterwards. Alright, so I just went ahead and I wood burned the whole thing. I think it came out looking pretty nice. So now I'm going to go over it with a wire brush, and I'm just going to lightly go over it, kind of like this, and that's going to get all the excess burnt marks and any like ash that's on the wood off, and then we're going to go ahead and stain it. Alright, so I got this, I don't know if you can see under here, I got this bluish stain. I just saw the color, thought it looked cool. Never used it before, but we're gonna give it a shot. So I just stirred it up, and now I've got gloves on because I do not want to get this stuff on me. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply it with a shop towel. Alright, so there you have it. My camera ended up dying as I was filming me staining this. But what I went ahead and did a nice generous stain with the cloth all around it. Then I let it sit for 15 minutes, and then I went over it with a dry cloth, and I just got all the excess stain off it. There wasn't too much, but just got everything off, if there's ever any little puddles or anything like that. Went ahead and I got all that off. So now the next step is to polyurethane it. Obviously I have to wait 4 hours before I do that, so this is wait for this to be perfectly dry. So I'm not going to show that, but that's pretty straightforward. Just throw the poly on and then sand it off by hand, and do that as many times as you want to make it as soft as you want. Overall, the stain, it's okay. It did not come out as blue as I was hoping it would. I mean, it's okay. You know, I don't think it shows up as well on camera, the blue, but I do still like it. I think it looks good. Definitely not, like I said, not what I was hoping for, but I'm not going to complain. I think it came out looking cool still. So yeah, that is how you make a herringbone coffee table that is wood burned and stained. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys found this video helpful, and maybe you can make it yourself if you want to. But as always, thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Any other videos you want us to make, comment those down below, and we'll see if we can do that. But yeah, until next one, thank you so much for watching.